The Power of Positive Thinking, a practical guide to mastering the problems of everyday living. Written by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. Originally published on the year 1956. This recording is a production of Whisper of the Wind. Copyright 2022. Introduction. What this book can do for you. This book is written to suggest techniques and to give examples which demonstrate that you do not need to be defeated by anything, that you can have peace of mind, improved health, and a never-ceasing flow of energy. In short, that your life can be full of joy and satisfaction. Of this I have no doubt at all, for I have watched countless persons learn and apply a system of simple procedures that has brought about the foregoing benefits in their lives. These assertions, which may appear extravagant, are based on bona fide demonstrations in actual human experience. Altogether, too many people are defeated by the everyday problems of life. They go struggling, perhaps even whining through their days, with a sense of dull resentment at what they consider the bad breaks life has given them. In a sense, there may be such a thing as the breaks in this life, but there is also a spirit and method by which we can control and even determine those breaks. It is a pity that people should let themselves be defeated by the problems, cares, and difficulties of human existence, and it is also quite unnecessary. In saying this, I certainly do not ignore or minimize the hardships and tragedies of the world, but neither do I allow them to dominate. You can permit obstacles to control your mind to the point where they are uppermost, and thus become the dominating factors in your thought pattern. By learning how to cast them from the mind, by refusing to become mentally subservient to them, and by channeling spiritual power through your thoughts, you can rise above obstacles which ordinarily might defeat you. By methods I shall outline, obstacles are simply not permitted to destroy your happiness and well-being. You need be defeated only if you are willing to be. This book teaches you to will, not to be. The purpose of this book is a very direct and simple one. It makes no pretense to literary excellence, nor does it seek to demonstrate any unusual scholarship on my part. This is simply a practical, direct action, personal improvement manual. It is written with the sole objective of helping the reader achieve a happy, satisfying, and worthwhile life. I thoroughly and enthusiastically believe in certain demonstrated and effective principles, which when practiced, produce a victorious life. My aim is to set them forth in this volume, in a logical, simple, and understandable manner, so that the reader, feeling a sense of need, may learn a practical method by which he can build for himself, with God's help, the kind of life he deeply desires. If you read this book thoughtfully, carefully absorbing its teachings, and if you will sincerely and persistently practice the principles and formulas set forth herein, you can experience an amazing improvement within yourself. By using the techniques outlined here, you can modify or change the circumstances in which you now live, assuming control over them rather than continuing to be directed by them. Your relations with other people will improve. You will become a more popular, esteemed, and well-liked individual. By mastering these principles, you will enjoy a delightful new sense of well-being. You may attain a degree of health not hitherto known by you, and experience a new and keen pleasure in living. You will become a person of great usefulness, and will wield an expanded influence. How can I be so certain that the practice of these principles will produce such results? The answer is simply that for many years, in the Marble Collegiate Church of New York City, we have taught a system of creative living based on spiritual techniques, carefully noting its operations in the lives of hundreds of people. It is no speculative series of extravagant assertions that I make, for these principles have worked so efficiently over so long a period of time that they are now firmly established as documented and demonstrable truth. The system outlined is a perfected and amazing method of successful living. In my writings, including several books, in my regular weekly newspaper column, in nearly 100 dailies, in my national radio program over 17 years, in our magazine guideposts, and in lectures in scores of cities, I have taught this same scientific yet simple principles of achievement, health, and happiness. Hundreds have read, listened, and practiced, and the results are invariably the same: new life, new power, increased efficiency, and greater happiness. Because so many have requested that these principles be put in book form, the better to be studied and practiced, I am publishing this new volume under the title The Power of Positive Thinking. I need not point out that the powerful principles contained herein are not my invention, but are given to us by the greatest teacher who ever lived, and who still lives. This book teaches applied Christianity, a simple, yet scientific system of practical techniques of successful living that works. Norman Vincent Peale. Chapter 1. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Have faith in your abilities. Without a humble but reasonable confidence in your own powers, you cannot be successful or happy. But with sound self-confidence, you can succeed. A sense of inferiority and inadequacy interferes with the attainment of your hopes. But self-confidence leads to self-realization and successful achievement. Because of the importance of this mental attitude, this book will help you believe in yourself and release your inner powers. It is appalling to realize the number of pathetic people who are hampered and made miserable by the malady popularly called the inferiority complex. But you need not suffer from this trouble. When proper steps are taken, it can be overcome. You can develop creative faith in yourself, faith that is justified. After speaking to a convention of businessmen in a city auditorium, I was on the stage greeting people when a man approached me and with a peculiar intensity of manner asked,
"May I talk with you about a matter of desperate importance to me?"
I asked him to remain until the others had gone. Then we went backstage and sat down.
"I'm in this town to handle the most important business deal of my life,"
he explained.
"If I succeed, it means everything to me. If I fail, I'm done for."
I suggested that he relax a little, that nothing was quite that final. If he succeeded, that was fine. If he didn't, well, tomorrow was another day.
"I have a terrible disbelief in myself,"
he said dejectedly.
"I have no confidence. I just don't believe I can put it over. I am very discouraged and depressed. In fact,
he lamented.
I'm just about sunk. Here I am, 40 years old. Why is it that all my life I have been tormented by inferiority feelings, by lack of confidence, by self-doubt? I listened to your speech tonight, in which you talked about the power of positive thinking, and I want to ask, how can I get some faith in myself?"
There are 2 steps to take, I replied. First, it is important to discover why you have these feelings of no power. That requires analysis and will take time. We must approach the maladies of our emotional life as a physician probes to find something wrong physically. This cannot be done immediately. certainly not in our brief interview tonight, and it may require treatment to reach a permanent solution. But to pull you through this immediate problem, I shall give you a formula which will work if you use it. As you walk down the street tonight, I suggest that you repeat certain words which I shall give you. Say them over several times after you get into bed. When you awaken tomorrow, repeat them 3 times before arising. On the way to your important appointment, say them 3 additional times. Do this with an attitude of faith, and you will receive sufficient strength and ability to deal with this problem. Later, if you wish, we can go into an analysis of your basic problem. But whatever we come up with following that study, the formula that I am now going to give you can be a large factor in the eventual cure. Following is the affirmation which I gave him. I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. He was unfamiliar with these words, so I wrote them on a card and had him read them over 3 times aloud. Now follow that prescription, and I am sure things will come out all right. Now follow that prescription, and I am sure things will come out all right. He pulled himself up, stood quietly for a moment, then said with considerable feeling,
Okay, doctor. Okay.
I watched him square his shoulders and walk out into the night. He seemed a pathetic figure, and yet the way he carried himself as he disappeared showed that faith was already at work in his mind. Subsequently, he reported that this simple formula did wonders for him and added,
It seems incredible that a few words from the Bible could do so much for a person.
This man later had a study made of the reasons for his inferiority attitudes. They were cleared away by scientific counseling and by the application of religious faith. He was taught how to have faith, was given certain specific instructions to follow, of which these are given later in this chapter. Gradually, he attained a strong, steady, reasonable confidence. He never ceases to express amazement at the way in which things now flow toward rather than away from him. His personality has taken on a positive, not negative character, so that he no longer repels success, but on the contrary, draws it to him. He now has an authentic confidence in his own powers. End of Chapter 1, Part 1. Thank you for listening. Watch out for the Part 2.